Hello everybody, I'm Kelly Williams. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be the first in a long series that I'm going to be filming covering particularly Coleman lanterns, but very specifically mainly the military lanterns. I know a lot of people have been asking me for those for some time now, and I'm finally getting to it. But I'm going to start this out by answering one of the most common questions I get, and that's the tools that I use to work on these lanterns. A lot of these I've had for many years. Matter of fact, all of them. My favorite one would be my Fount Vice, and it's the one I get asked about most frequently. This is modeled after the original Coleman Repair Center Fount Vices, where it has 3 rings, 3 diameters that it can fit. It clamps down by turning this. Has a piece of channel on the bottom where you can mount it in a bench vise. Just as it is, it will take 200A, 220s, 502, 500 stove, 275, a whole bunch of items. It simply sits in a bench vise and tighten it down. Along with it are 2 rings, adapter rings, like this one. I set that adapter ring in there. Set the right adapter ring in there. And I can clamp down a 530. Once it's clamped down, it's going nowhere. This vise is almost like cheating because it holds on to things so well. With this one, I can put some of the peak items in, the smaller lanterns and smaller stoves, and work on them. Ernie Hyatt is the one that had these made, and as many of you know, Ernie unfortunately passed away a number of years ago now. It has his name in it, E. Hyatt, Rochester, Indiana. So this particular vise has a lot of sentimental value to me, because it's the only one that I have anymore. I used to sell them for Ernie a long time ago, but I don't have anymore. It's the only one I have left. I've had it, like I said, for many years. I don't know how many lanterns I've had in this thing, hundreds and hundreds. It is by far my favorite. Another tool that I use is a valve removal and installation tool. And this was modeled after the original Coleman Repair Center valve tools. It was made, Ernie Hyatt had it made. It's made out of hardened tool steel. You can't break it. Believe me, if you could, I would have already done it. If you can see on the handle here where there's marks, that's where I've had founts in the vise, and they're so hard I've put cheater wrenches on them, thinking I'm either going to bust the bung out of the damn fount or it's coming loose. I've never had one tear out, not doing that anyway. It's a great tool. Couldn't live without that one. Move on to check valve removal. This is the tool that I use 99.98% of the time to take any check valve out. And if anybody's ever seen me do one, or somebody has one of these tools in a vise, it'll make you cuss because it just makes it so easy. And again, it's modeled after the original Coleman Repair Center tools. It's like a ginormous screwdriver. This is hardened steel. This is hardened tool steel, the tip. And some people say, well, it wouldn't hold up. It wouldn't hold up. It'd break off. I've had this as long as I've had this vise, and you can tell by the wear marks on it. It's been used. It's been used a lot, and I've had some of them very tight. Again, there's cheater marks from wrenches being on it. I'll show you. I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't screw anything up. I don't think I've had this little lantern lit in a while. Maybe that was fuel in there. It just needs to come out. Hear it drop down in there, body weight on it, and pop. And that's all it takes. One check valve. Yeah, it's leaking. Alright, that's good to know. It's one I just grabbed off the shelf. Probably haven't had it lit in a while, but I'll get back to it later. That's that check valve removal tool. Now the other one that I use is, of course, a Mike Wells check valve removal tool. You can't beat it. I've got every version that he's made. I've known Mike for many years. Remember when we all started talking about the concept of a check valve removal tool when we were all still on the chat room at Old Town Coleman, long before it became the CCF. And Don made a prototype. I have one of those versions. I don't know, I probably have 10 or 12. But these are very handy. If you don't have a Fount Vice, you absolutely have to have one of these. It fits the different slot check valves. There's different threaded rods. It fit, I think, 4 or 6 different check valves. It works exceptionally well. I don't have to use it very often, but when I do, it has never failed me. In the event that one is so dang stubborn that it won't come out, and I have had that happen, that's what this dude is for. Another tool modeled after the original Coleman Repair Center tools. It holds an extractor. You have to drill the check valve out, pop it down in there, pop it loose. Another tool that Ernie had made, this one still has part of a sticker on it. It says the STA shop. If you didn't know Ernie was a card and a half. STA stood for spare time activities. See, he only did it in his spare time. When he had that, I don't know. But anyway, oh Ernie. Another tool that I use is this here. This, you may recognize, will remove and install the plastic pump cap on some of the newer lanterns, some of the smaller stoves. Again, another tool that Ernie had made, modeled after the original Coleman Repair Center tools. It's a very handy tool. The curved nut 16th wrench. I made this one, God, I don't know, 20 years ago. Cut it on a 45-degree angle, flipped it over, TIG welded it back on. I run the head in a surface grinder to narrow it down a little bit. It's really, you know, if you don't have it, you can get a regular 9/16 wrench. So there's another one. Heat it with a torch and bend it's fine. But if you don't have a curved 9/16 wrench, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Very handy. Other than that, I use general wrenches, you know, 5/16, 1/4 inch, 3/8, or your standard sizes. If you do any military lanterns, here is a handy one to have. This is a 3/8 socket wrench. And the reason it's so handy are the military pickup tubes, as I've told everyone and will be showing in the future, are 4 pieces. There's a top nut, bottom nut, an inside tube, and an outside tube. The top and the bottom are different sizes. The top is 3/8, the bottom is 5/16. So what normally makes it easy for me is to hold one hand, 5/16 in the other, with a ratchet wrench, take it apart, do the same thing, put it back together. Other than that, just standard stuff, brushes, wrenches, you know, I think it's the 70-something Armstrong, the valve assembly, takes like an 11/16 wrench to get out. They had to be different, you know, and that was somewhere in the contract that they could be different. They didn't have to meet specs. It just had to meet the purpose and design. But that's it for the tools that I use most commonly working on lanterns. Thank you. Y'all take care, and if you have any questions, please let me know.